Sweet. We are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. If you're new, this is the Hustle Science Experiment show that I run live on LinkedIn and social media, interviewing badass guests and learning more about the science powering their hustle. And today I'm excited because I've got a friend of mine, a collaborator, a fellow counselor, a client, coach, Amber Jones, who goes by CoachAmberJ. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction. I'm super excited. Thank you again.
Me too. I'm super excited. And folks, we're going to be going over interesting business and life lessons today. We're talking about, how to avoid being scammed out of your business relationships and how to set proper boundaries in your personal relationships. But before I get into that, I want to share a little bit more about Coach Amber J. She is a certified life coach, has been helping professional men and women, achieve, empower themselves to get on a better path, whether that's in their lives professionally or or personally. She specializes as a transitional life coach, helping people overcome areas of grief and uncertainty in their lives. I've had the pleasure of working with her through Nevada Partners at some of the youth camps that we've been able to participate together. But I want to pass the floor back to you, Coach. If you could share an introduction. I know you've been doing this for 6+ years, but can you share your journey with us?
Yes, well, thank you again for that amazing introduction. It's definitely a pleasure. And yeah, I am Coach Amber J, a transitional life coach, also lifestyle strategist, empowering both male and female clients through various phases of life transitions. And I truly not only have had the experience helping my clients transition, but also my own experiences in how to transition through life's various phases, circumstances, changes, ups and downs, especially in business. And so, as a coach, I always say there's no better teacher than experience, right? So, having the experience in transitioning and just elevating through life and then empowering my clients to do the same is like these are the keys that I've used that can get you from A to Z, if you utilize them and being that, you utilize them and implementing the strategies that they work. So, oh, I can't hear you.
I'm muted. What an amateur.
Oh,
But anyways, you're
okay.
definitely really big about keys. I mean, you've got the key earrings. Keys are all over your
Yeah.
website and social media. I mean, where does the inspiration of keys come from?
So I believe that it takes one key to open many doors, and you are the master key. And so my goal for every client or anyone I encounter is to remind you that you're the master key of your life. Like you hold that golden key. So any doors that you want to open or you want to walk in, the only limit is yourself. And so the keys represent that recognition of you being the master. So whatever it is that you want or you no longer want in your life, if things are not serving you, you have the key to lock it or unlock it. And so that's the explanation or the representation of the keys is a reminder to not others, but even to myself that I'm the master key. Anything I want, I can have. Anything I don't want, I can get rid of because I have the key to lock the door. So
There you
it
go.
takes one key to open many doors, and you're the master key.
I love that. Are you a fan of DJ Khaled by chance? I
I
got the
am.
keys.
He's usually my keys, the keys of changing your life.
Right. I love it. That's awesome. Well, let's get it right into it. And folks, if you're tuning in live, feel free to drop in, say hello, share your questions, and we'll bring you up on we'll bring your comment up on the stage and dive into it. But let's get into it. The business lesson today, the title, working title, how to avoid being scammed in your business relationships. Can you open that up for us?
Absolutely. Not only just being scammed, but being wise and connected in relationships in your business. I would say that it's very important to um, investigate or research a company that you plan to collaborate or even connect with. A lot of times, especially as new entrepreneurs, we're excited, we have a vision, we want to birth it, and we get excited, and we kind of jump ahead, not recognizing or realizing, before I invest this money into someone, are they validated? Are they approved? Do they have, you know, can I reference them? Can I see the work that they did? And sometimes, me being this experience is like, sometimes you get so excited and you want things done right away, that the first thing that comes to you that sounds good, or you share your idea with someone, a person will say, yeah, yeah, I could do this, I could do that. But are they actually skilled in that? Are they actually accredited to do it? Do they have the credentials? Do they have the time necessary for your vision to get certain things done, or do they just want your money? And a lot of times, again, being a new entrepreneur or having a vision or idea and you want something done, you don't take a moment to step back and say, let me vet this person. Let me make sure that they're legit. Let me make sure that what they're saying is quality, that they actually can produce what they're saying they could do. And so I would say, as and not even just new entrepreneurs, but in business, sometimes we meet someone and we leave it at face value, and we don't take that second step to realize, like, are they who they say they are, or are they putting a persona on, or are they masking something in the title of their business or their company?
Yeah, that's totally fair. I mean, due diligence is a big piece that I picked out of that, and an example of due
Yeah.
diligence you mentioned is checking if folks are validated. If they have the proof of the work that they have done, right? Like record of work or social proof is something I like to talk a lot about. I mean, I don't think that we could probably agree, and without it being an assumption, I'll just ask you this question: do you believe that the majority of the world, majority of folks in business, lead from a point of positive intention? First off,
Um, I would say I'm definitely an optimist. um,
yeah.
so my I would say naiveness would want to say yes, absolutely. But my experience has now said that most people are in business are trying to stay in business, and they will, I would say, dangle that just to get
Mm,
paid for a job. So is their initial intent wrong? Possibly not, but could there be some ill or a motive behind their yes? I would say yeah, definitely.
absolutely. Yeah, and to go right with it, I mean, I don't think I think positive intent doesn't that's like 10% of the business
Right.
relationship, because everybody, we hope, my naivety will tell me that everybody brings positive intent into it, but then there are like other strings and factors that drive people to make poor decisions, unfortunately. This is really interesting because I see this a lot with freelancers, and I've experienced this myself too before, where I've overpromised and I've underdelivered, and in the past like 2 years, or I think I had a coach that I hired in 2017, and one of the big takeaways from that coaching session is I'll follow through on everything that I say I'll do, and be extremely intentional, and so I think just speaking for myself, like, get into business, you want to bring in clients, and then you start saying that you could do the work, and you probably could, but then you get overwhelmed, and then you can't, right? And then you falter, and then that definitely leads to poor relationships. And so I think personally, I've gotten better at it. um, and I think the big lesson for me has been something that Gary Vee talks about, and in terms of him building his marketing agency to $300+ million, and it is the reason why he's built his agency and he's so successful as he is because he delivers on the results that he's promised his clients over and over and over again, and that's what it takes to be successful in business. And so if you can't, I'm losing Coach Amber, losing Coach Amber J. But to finish the sentence, if you can't deliver on the promises, then you shouldn't be making those promises, and you should just focus on your set of clients. I lost you. Uh-oh. She's coming back. Hey, coach. Coming back to you. Do you hear me?
I do. I'm sorry. I don't know what is going on with my Wi-Fi. It usually has no issues,
It's all good.
but
I was just saying, like, you can't expect to build a successful business if you can't follow through, right? So I think,
right.
for freelancers and marketers and anybody or any business out there that finds themselves in a situation where they're like selling a product that is not working, then they need to work on their product and get their product down to a point where it's working so that they can have a validated product. And then with their validated product, go back to market. Otherwise, folks stay in this trap of like, they're not, it's not even a business. It's a slave to you and to, the others around you, unfortunately. I mean, I kind of went on a long-winded rant while you were gone.
I'm
What are your
sorry.
reactions to
Yeah, very true. Me being a coach in these last 6 years, I've realized, some things may work, some things may not, and sometimes you have to part ways with certain things, and you have to say, you know what, like instead of beating yourself up or trying to make it work, right? It's kind of saying, like, I have to be wise enough to detach from this situation or this product or this plan or this idea and recreate it or, go back to the drawing board and say, like, let me figure something else out. But I think it's so important um, to have the integrity, not with just others, but with yourself to say, well, if the product's not working, try a new product, do something different and not um, try to force it to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. And, just like the market is relentless, right? And so
It
the
is
market is going to make the decisions for you. And so, sticking to a bad product is definitely not the way to go. But going back to
absolutely.
this topic of, avoiding these negative outcomes in these business relationships. I mean, what are some lessons you've learned, that will help guide you to avoid this in the future?
I would say number one definitely is align yourself with people that have integrity. Go back, make sure that you do the due diligence and researching, making sure you read the reviews, see if you can get references. Really take the time. Actually, I would say first slow down and take the
Yeah.
time to vet several different products, different places, different companies that do the same thing and weigh out your options. Don't just jump on the first thing that comes your way. So that you can actually see, am I getting my money's worth? If I invest in this, can I get the same thing maybe for a lesser price? If I actually, compare it to another company. So I would say definitely slow down and really take the time to research before you invest.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that advice. As entrepreneurs, we like to move fast, right? But what's the point of
Yes,
moving fast if you're moving in the wrong direction? Then you're really hurting yourself.
absolutely. and
Um,
and that I would say would be one of my biggest takeaways is for myself and a huge learning lesson because I also realize as you take some hits as an entrepreneur, you learn as you go and you may hopefully you grow as you learn. But taking the lesson and applying it is what could I have done differently and what was the lesson? And that's the biggest thing. You may not get your full ROI back in the monetary value, but the lessons can be learned and you can apply them in your future endeavors, which is also really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think about taking business relationships one step at a time, like going with the lowest denomination value of the give gets and going one step at a time there, and the reason why I asked this question is because I've seen folks who do business partnerships and they're just like right away, all right, we're 50-50, we're in this business together, and they barely know each other. Maybe they know each other as friends, but they barely know each other's business work ethic. And it's just, I mean, what do you think about that dynamic versus like,
I would it's a great question because I'm actually having a similar situation now because again, I'm such an optimist and am guilty of not doing my due diligence is in getting in relationship, and a business relationship is actually kind of worse than getting into a marriage
Hmm.
with not doing the due diligence of who is this person, what is their work ethics, how do they view money, what are their perceptions, what are their values, are their integrity, are they do they have the same integrity as you do. And if you don't know those questions and then you say, hey, I want to get in contract with you, I want to get in partnership with you, well, in a few months, if things don't go the way that you align, you're kind of stuck with them unless you dissolve the business or one of you buy each other out. But it's the heartache and all of that that could definitely be avoided if you take your time. And like you said, instead of just going into partnership, how about collaborate on one event and see how it works? And then if that's a success, then maybe partnering with another thing instead of just creating that commitment in a contract in a business and it doesn't work at all. I would definitely say that vet relationships out.
Yeah.
Get to know each other.
It's like I love the parallels between dating, and your like personal life, and then your business professional life, because I think there's a lot of parallels there, right? Like a lot of people just want to go for the
Absolutely.
sale right away, or they want to do the business partnership right away, but it's like, well, you didn't even take me out on a date yet. Like we didn't even do our first thing together yet. Like how can I commit this, like the next 5-10 years of my energy to this if we haven't successfully done the first couple of things? And so I think I've been a freelancer since I was a teenager, and so I've gone through lots of positive and negative experiences, and so now I know for sure, like, one small step at a time. MOU is lined
Yeah.
up, agreement, expectations, constant communication, and I'm not perfect either, but like just getting back up and communicating and working through it, and just not letting things deteriorate, you know, in what happens, like, in these situations where folks feel like they've been
Yeah.
scammed out of, a business relationship.
And you said some very valuable things because I think, like you said, they do have a lot of parallel. Date your business partner, get to know them, get to know their ideas. I know that there was a time that I was pursuing to get into a situation with another business partner, and we literally sat down and we asked each other, okay, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, how do you like to communicate, when you're frustrated, what do you do? Like, we really
Yeah.
sat down and got to know each other. And it was really encouraging to me because it was like, if they're willing to sit down and take the time to invest in me, how dedicated are they going to be to the business, right? And a lot of times relationships don't work because of miscommunication of personal perspectives and beliefs getting in the way of the actual overall um, goal. And so it's really important that you align. You don't want to be with someone that's super emotional, that doesn't communicate, that's always assuming. You want to be able to be in relationship with people that hold those same values as you. If we're in a really tough situation, what do you do? How do you respond? Those are really important, just like it would be to date. Like, who are you? What do you like? What made you
Right.
happy? And those questions, which we tend to avoid, will be literally the determining factor of how long that relationship lasts or how
Absolutely.
successful that relationship could be.
Yeah. Well, Coach Amber J, thank you for dropping those gems there. And, we're wishing everybody amazing, fruitful partnerships, and hope they take this
Absolutely.
advice, to heart. But let's move into our moment of gratitude. I mean, it's Wednesday. It hasn't stormed yet. Anything in particular you're feeling grateful for today?
You know what? I love Wednesdays. Wednesdays are like my favorite day of the week. It's like that middle part, that middle hump day that's like, I'm almost there. I've made it through the first half and I only got a couple days left. And so I would say I am very grateful today that I just woke up, that I actually have a roof over my head. My kids are okay. I believe gratitude is a state of mind. And what my key would be is to learn to live in a place of gratitude instead of complaining. And so all your bad days will be turned around if you can find one thing to be grateful for every day.
I love that. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, it's hard to, let's see, today. I'm just feeling grateful for the country that we live in, and all the access that we get. The fact that it's 2022, and I can do so be so productive behind my computer, and get coffee for $1. We are living in a state of abundance as a society, and hopefully we can continue growing that abundance. And so I'm here with Coach Amber J. She's probably going to jump back in, a transitional life coach here in Las Vegas. And we're going to be talking about setting boundaries in life. And so, Coach, let's go right into your life lesson today. Um, Tell us about, what it means to set boundaries in your personal life. Like, what does that mean to you?
So, setting boundaries to me is literally setting an open door or a door in my life, meaning I open it and I can close it at any time. Boundaries are setting the standard not only for other people, but for myself, what I'm willing to accept, the value that I'm willing to accept or not accept. And so boundaries for me is like a open door where I can get to invite you in or I can ask you to leave and I get to close the door. And that's literally what boundaries look like for
Yeah.
me, is having understanding the value of that open door or closing the door if it doesn't serve me.
I love that. Super important skill to have. And, for, some folks, it might not be obvious, right? I mean, that's, I think, where toxic relationships come from. And so,
Right.
what advice do you have for folks who struggle with closing that door, at the time that's best for them because they're stuck in a toxic situation?
Oh my goodness. I don't know why my Wi-Fi is not working. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I am so sorry. This is insane. Being grateful that we can reconnect.
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. A beautiful art on the wall,
thank
aesthetic.
you. I'm sorry, I didn't get the question you
Oh,
asked
yeah, no
me.
worries. So the question was, really important to know how to open and close doors, right? And,
Right.
some folks are stuck in toxic relationships and situations where it's hard to close the door, right? And so, you know, for whatever reason, it's hard to close the door. What advice might you have to help people close that door?
I would say the first thing to do is to really take a moment to self reflect. Our reality is our physical body, are our emotions, and our thoughts. And those are literally the only thing that we have control over. And so we can't control how people respond, and we can't control, but we can control how we react to what people say or do to us. And so I would say it starts with you taking inventory within yourself. How am I showing up? What am I giving off? What am I doing? Or where are the lack of boundaries for myself that maybe I need to implement for myself, and start there with self.
Awesome. And what are yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like, you have to start with yourself. What are some examples, of common boundaries people have to set? It does it have to do with habits? Does it have to do, with expectations? Like, what are some common boundaries?
I would say boundaries start with your thoughts, taking
Oh,
control over your thoughts, what you listen to, what you allow to be spoken over or into you. What are you reading? What are you ingesting? Not just physical food, which also matters, but also the literature that you're reading, the music that you're listening to. What are you allowing into your spirit, which will control the way you think, the way you talk, your perception of things. So I would definitely say starting with your thoughts.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, starting with your thoughts, moving, it's almost like manifestation, which is, across the board, what you think, what you say, what you do, all that
Right.
jazz.
Or
Any
what
other
you don't
pieces?
do.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
or what you don't do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have to set boundaries, for our bad habits and kick and close the door on those bad habits. I'm starting to learn
Absolutely.
some of your lingo now, Coach. Uh,
Close the door, set boundaries.
how can folks, get in touch and get involved with you? Love for you to take a moment to kind of plug your services and how people can get in touch.
So you can find me across all platforms on Coach Amber J. Go to my website. I offer 15-minute free coaching sessions, and you can also download my e-guide, which is Freedom to Finding Thyself, which will teach you more tools on boundaries, self-care, self-love, how to actually begin to identify who you are, what you want, where your goals are, or where you are in life, and hopefully help move you forward. So that is on my website at CoachAmberJ.com. And then you can also book a session there as well if interested.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to meet with me. I know we dealt with some timing issues and some Wi-Fi issues, but we got the dang thing done.
We got
Uh,
through it.
yes, yes. Any final words you want to share for the folks?
I just want to say thank you so much. Another gratitude moment is I am grateful for you and our connection and our meeting, and you created my website phenomenal. So if you need anyone to do all of your techno work, this is the man to go to. Um, Book him. And again, thank you. And then it all starts with one day. So every day, do what you can and stay there, stay present, stay in the moment, and only do what you can control, which is your reality, and that's every single day. So thank you
Amen.
again.
No, thank you. Thank you. Our tribe is growing. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Catch us on the flip side.